Hello and welcome to my review of LEGO Star Wars set number 75311, the LEGO Star Wars Imperial Marauder based off of The Mandalorian Season 2. A very cool set here, and one that is a must-have if you wanted to build your Imperial army at the time. But if you want to buy this set new today, is it really worth it to spend $40 to even $60? It is a pretty nice set with pretty nice figures, but let's go over all the pros and cons. Probably the coolest figure in this set, we have the artillery trooper, supporting his yellow markings and a not oversized pauldron. He does have a brick-built backpack with some artillery shells, and it's just a really cool trooper to have overall in your Imperial army. Next up, to come with the Marauder, we have two standard Imperial troopers. A pretty cool way to build your Imperial army with this set. Now, a small detail to notice is the troopers in this set and in the many others to come throughout the years, because we have many iterations of the Stormtrooper. Like I said, many different iterations. Starting off with the Rebels variation of the trooper here. This is the animated version, and I would say that LEGO did a really good job of capturing the animated version. Now for the next two here, can you tell me which one came in this set? Left or right? Pause the video and leave your answers in the comment section down below. And the answer is the left one. Now, sure, these figures have the same helmet molds and the same legs, but it comes down to the torsos with its very small details below the breastplate. We have the one on the left with the small but bold lines, and the one on the right here with the much skinnier lines. I noticed this when I was building my Imperial army, setting them all up on the base plate, that they were all different in some variation. And I think that is quite annoying, especially when you want to get a standard uniform look, as the Imperial army should have. But one thing I did notice is the right trooper and the Rebels trooper do compare in many ways. Now, the helmet is obviously out of the question, but as for the legs and the torsos, we have many similarities. As for the last figure of this set, with a grand total of 4 figures, we have the High Magistrate Greef Karga. This character looks pretty cool, with his robes flowing all the way down from his hips to his legs, and just the color scheme of this character in general, and his gray beard really pops out. Now, let's compare this figure to the character that came in the Mandalorian Razor Crest a few years prior. The two sets that Greef Karga was included in were released just a year apart from each other, and they both have some crazy changes. Now, the most noticeable is the printing. Sure, each character is wearing a different outfit, but we have one character from the right, the younger version of Greef Karga, wearing a simple robe with no hip, leg, or arm printing, only on the torso. But then we have the newer version of the character, and he has a torso printing, hip printing, and leg printing, all corresponding with each other, which is very great for LEGO, but crazy to see the two figures side by side. Another thing to notice are the characters' ages, which is crazy to think, because this character on the right is a younger version, while this character on the left has a very gray beard. But that's it for the figures. Let's go on to the model. This is a really sturdy model, and even though it is a few years old now, it compares really nicely to a set you would see on shelves today. Let's take a look. First off, the color scheme. we have mostly dark gray, which is very accurate to what we see in the Mandalorian TV show, with aspects of light gray and a few dark tan elements, which I think really makes the set pop. As for playability with this set, we have a first door to access the cockpit with a nice little printed control panel and a chair for the pilot. Now, on both sides of the vehicle, we have these two doors, which would be the main troop doors here, but they cannot actually fit a trooper inside of them, which is a very weird thing. So that is something we will be modifying today. Some other doors we have is this one in the back, accessing the gunner's chair with the nice swivel cannon feature. And then for the last one, this isn't really a door, but it does allow for more access to the interior. We have the access to the inside of the vehicle with the 3 chairs there to fit the troopers. But there is a major problem with this set. The stud shooters. Dreaded, hated stud shooters. Great for play, but when I just want to look at how cool this thing really is, the stud shooters take away from that experience. Like, look how big and bulky these are. Like, sure, you can shoot them wherever you want, but they just look bad. So that is something else we will be modifying at the end of this video. As for playability with those stud shooters, we have the doors mentioned before, along with these pretty cool cannon designs here, which I think are a better design than the stud shooters. Now we also have this cannon here, and again, stud shooters. Darn, missed opportunity there, but they do have a crate that can be stored in the vehicle with an Imperial crest on it, which is a really cool design, and they should incorporate more in sets when they get the chance. Now, before I modify this set in any ways, we must first take a look at some of the really cool techniques LEGO used. For they used a lot, and I mean a lot, of plate and slope pieces throughout the set, and a lot of different greaveling techniques on the top and sides of the ship. We also have the inclusion of these windows here, which is very accurate to the show. And let's talk about the front of this real quick, because not only can you open it to reveal the cockpit, whatever, you have this really, really nice angle of it, which makes for a really good design. I mean, sure, it's a little bit bulky with those slope pieces there, but it's really good in my opinion. Now, moving on to the back of it, we have the engines here, which, I mean, again, cool techniques, whatever. They just slap it on some snot. But just overall, it's a good set. Is it one that needs modifying? Yes. Is it one that appeared in a Rebels TV show? Yes. Was that version of it very different from this? Yes. And should it have a LEGO remake? I think so. But let's modify this. Let me show you what I did. For the first modification, all you need to do is pop off the back door and get these pieces from your parts collection. Once that is done, you're going to want to put the 1x4 in this little space here, and it will be hard to fit in, that is for sure, But once you have that done there, which I did not do, I'll be back in a second. Okay, well, once you have that 1x4 on it like so, you're gonna place the 2 cheese slopes on the corresponding side. Let me take a second to set that up, and I'll show you the finished result. Now, you're just gonna pop that on, and you have what I think is a much more completed model. Now, moving on to the next issue at hand, we have the front stud shooters. And what you're going to want to do is actually pop off this whole section here, okay? And you're just going to remove the stud shooter entirely. And then you are going to want to replace it with these 2 pieces here. Now, this modification will not be accurate to what we see in the Mandalorian, but it is definitely better than the stud shooter. Alright, so what you're gonna do is put the 1x2 right there, okay? So then it should snap on right there. And then from there, you're gonna put this angled piece on right here. Fits like a glove. And when you go to put it all together, you do have a much cleaner look than the stud shooter right there. Although not accurate, it does look much better. Now, we will be doing this same exact process to the other side. Alrighty, pop the stud shooter off, put the 2x1 in place, and then the angled piece, pop it all back together, and if I can, pop it back together. Pop it all back together, and you do have a much cleaner look. Even though not accurate, still better in my opinion. Now, we'll be taking a look at the roof for this one. So let me just pop off this whole roof section here. And let's take a look at what we need to fix. Now, there is only supposed to be one access point to the top of the model, and that is right here, which opens, by the way. And that is the access hatch. But then why is this piece right here? If it's not a hatch, why do they have the same piece right there? So let's fix that with this piece right here. What you're gonna wanna do is just pop off that round tile and put the plate in its place. Now, I think it looks better. I mean, you do have the one hatch idea here, and I think that is improved. This is my new improved marauder turret design. Now, it stays true to the show while being very accurate with the whole 360 degrees, while also having the barrels being able to go downwards and partly upwards, not fully, but it gets the job done. If you want to see how to build this, follow along. You're going to discard that first turret design until you have these pieces as shown here. Now, you're going to start off with this plate, and once you have that, you're going to place a 1x3, or in my case here, a 1x1 and a 1x2. You're going to place those like so, right there, okay? Then right after that, you're going to grab a 2x4 in light gray, dark gray, it doesn't matter, and you're going to stack 2 of them on top of each other, like so. After that, you will grab these pieces as used before, and you're going to put them right here and on the other side right here. After that, you're gonna grab this wedge piece in dark gray and place it on the front of the model there. And then grab these two hinge pieces and put them right here. This is where the turrets are gonna go. After that, you're gonna grab these two pieces here and attach a 3-stud wide rod piece to each of them, and then a black hilt piece right there. And voila, you have the two turrets. Then what you're gonna do is attach those as shown. And after that, you do have the basic skeleton of the build, but then you are gonna put these two pieces. You're gonna grab two of these wedge pieces and place them right here and here on the back of it. After that, you're gonna grab one of these pieces and place it right here, like shown. After that, you're gonna grab two angled slope pieces right here and just attach those right there and there. And then after that, you're not finished yet because you need to include two of these dark gray 1x2s, and then this piece right here should attach smoothly right there. After that, to build the final piece, the backing of this model, you are going to take two of these, stack them on top of each other, and grab the last of these pieces, and poof, slap it on the model, and you have your newly completed Marauder build. The next modification we are going to do to this set, since it is a troop transport, is to make sure it could transport not just 5 troopers. So let's do it. First off, you're going to want to remove the whole roof paneling altogether. So then you can get at the side here, and you're just gonna wanna pop it off. Now, after that, you are gonna wanna take these 3 black pieces off of the side there. Now, those pieces coming off too is always great because it gives you more room for your hands to work. All right, let me show you what to do. Now, sadly, when I did toy around with the model, I did realize that you can only fit 5 troopers, but I did make it to where you had a little more space. So what I first did, if we take the troops out, is I removed this big gray piece that was in there because that was just very, it elevated the whole seating arrangement, and it just made it look a lot bulkier than it should have been. So what I ended up doing is taking this piece, which was an original seat, and sticking a stormtrooper on that, and that worked just fine. And then I put a gray grill piece there that is included in this set. I also put a tan chair piece, which is also included in this set. One more spot for a stormtrooper. And then we have one more silver gray grill piece. Then I put another chair piece and did the exact same process. So, sure, it could still fit 5 clones, but At least now they're riding in style. You now have a much better looking marauder design with some very obvious modifications and some not so obvious ones. I hope you like the video, and thanks for watching.